What's up, your backup plan tribe, to another part two of 14 creative ways to bury your loved one. And we're just thinking right outside the coffin this time, without the traditional burial that we always talk about. And we look into funeral arrangements doing the regular traditional way. But in our show today, we're going to talk about 14 creative ways that you can bury your loved one. So if you haven't watched part one, check it out over on our YouTube channel. I'll have it in the description box below, just down here. And make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our channel so that you know that we're here and that you can subscribe and follow us for more. So thank you so much for coming on our show today. And we're going to get right into it because I'm Tina Ginn. I'm from your Backup Plan app, and I'm a financial advisor and a creator and developer of the app. I am a best-selling author of In the Blink of an Eye. Just like that, we have something life-changing, something that changes our life forever, and it goes that quickly. I'm an emergency preparedness coach, and I'm bringing you here today on some creative ideas on what to consider for your burial, or your friend's burial, or your spouse's burial, whatever you pick. But we're going to have lots of fun. We're going to do 5 out of the 14 today in this episode, and we'll have a part 3, and then we'll have a part 4. So stay tuned for those. So if we're not Superman, but we act like we are because nothing's going to happen to us, right? As you know, it's far from the truth. We can look at the last 5 years in the world around us, and there's shootings in the schools and the streets, and there's work accidents and car accidents, and there's the pandemic, and there's drug overdoses, and not to mention the crazy wars, as well as the natural disasters, wildfires, and floods and hurricanes that are around the world, earthquakes as well. So we're here to cover you all. The link for our app is also down below in the description box. I hope to see you over there for more. Stay tuned we're going to have a quick commercial break, and we're going to get ready for our next, if I can get this, well, I guess I did 3 in the previous one, so this is number 4. We're going to talk about all of those, and we're going to go over them. So I'll see you in a minute.
Walking down the sidewalk, kicking my feet as I'm moving to the music. Step to the beat, I woke up today, canceled all my plans, and I stepped right outside with my guitar in my hands, and the notes became loud as the sound caressed the air, and I kicked it up a notch as I strolled without a care, cause I'm going down the road to a brand new place, and I'll get there with a smile on my face, yeah, so lift me up. I'm moving on, singing and dancing while I play my song.
Welcome back to our show, Thinking Outside the Coffin, 14 Creative Ways to Bury Your Loved One. So hello and welcome. My name is Tina Ginn, and I am going to be your host today. Your Backup Plan app is our sponsor today for our show, and you can find its information of the app down below in the description box. So welcome to our channel today, where we talk about topics related to personal finance and family planning, as well as taboo subjects such as death and sickness and all of that stuff that we avoid talking about. We will discuss a topic that today it's a bit sensitive and important for those who have had to deal with these moments. When we lose a loved one, we want to find a way to honor them and preserve their memory. For many people, this means exploring alternative burial methods and options that are more sustainable and eco-friendly. And in our previous part 1 video that you'll find down below is a brief overview of human composting and green burial, which is kind of the two trending types of burials right now. So I wanted to talk about those first because they have an importance of considering environmentally conscious options. So we're going to talk about water burial today, a burial method that involves placing the remains in the ocean or other bodies of water, often in a biodegradable urn or a container. A water burial and a burial at sea are similar in that they both involve placing the remains in the water, but there are some differences between the two. A water burial is a general term that refers to any type of burial in which the remains are placed in the water, such as a lake or a river. This type of burial can be done by placing the remains in a biodegradable urn or scattering the ashes on the water surface. In short, a water burial is a more general term that encompasses any type of burial in the water, while a burial at sea, specifically, to scattering ashes or placing remains in the ocean in accordance with specific rules and regulations. We're going to talk about part 5, I guess it is, sky burial, as well as space burial. So stay tuned. And we're going to finish off with a burial at sea. It's a burial in a family private cemetery. So those are the topics. So stay tuned. Don't click, go away. Stay with me here because we're going to have fun with these. We're going to talk about water burial first. And my paper's here. So a water burial or burial at sea are very similar, but in the difference being, so a water burial can be either the remains scattered in the lake or an ocean or a river, but a sea burial is very much different. A sea burial, on the other hand, is a specific type of water burial that involves scattering the ashes or placing the remains in the ocean. A burial at sea is often conducted by the U.S. Navy or Coast Guard and must meet certain requirements in your location, including obtaining a permit from the appropriate authorities and following specific procedures for scattering of ashes or the placement of the remains. Underwater burial is the method which involves placing a body or ashes in a biodegradable container and sinking it to the bottom of the ocean or another body of water. The location can be marked with a buoy or other markers. This method becomes more popular for those who love the ocean or have a connection to the water. According to the Los Angeles Times, April 12, 2022, full body burials at sea are not new, but they are rare. Ken McKenzie, a funeral director who runs McKenzie Mortuary Services in Long Beach, California, and recently acquired Armstrong Mortuary in Los Angeles, said that of the 27,000 burials he's facilitated in the last 32 years, about 175 of them have been full body burials at sea. In 2020, the Californians were buried at sea. 162 Californians were buried at sea just in 1 year, according to data collected by Environmental Protection Agency. Burials at sea also provide a sense of ritual that may be specifically appealing to people who are not affiliated with any type of religious institution. And just going to see if I can get a picture on here for you guys. So the boat ride to the burial site serves as a transition to sacred space. The endless expanse of ocean conjures up the idea of eternity. And after the body goes into the sea, most captains circle the area counterclockwise 3 times to symbolize time standing still as loved ones say their final goodbyes and throw flowers into the water. When the boat returns to shore, families generally receive the exact coordinates of where their loved one was deposited so they can visit the spot again and again. Anyone can be buried at sea as long as the burial occurs at least 3 nautical miles from shore and in at least 600 feet of water, according to federal regulations. So always check with your federal regulations in your location. You don't want to get into trouble. If a person wants to be buried in the ocean without a casket, the EPA recommends the body be wrapped in a biodegradable shroud and weighted to ensure it falls quickly to the ocean floor and then stays there. The last thing you want to have is the body of your loved one bobbing up and down on top of the ocean. If a casket is being used, stainless steel is best, with all plastic materials removed. It should have 22-inch wide holes drilled into it to allow water to flood in and weigh it down, and offset the buoyancy of the body. We take old ships and put them to rest at the bottom of the ocean, and that starts an ecosystem. Caskets do that too. They become a reef. It doesn't matter whether you're in the earth or the sea. We all go back to where we came from. Milton Love, a research biologist at UC Santa Barbara, who studies the marine life that congregates around oil rigs, agreed that a submerged casket would become a habitat for ocean animals, but whether that's good for the environment depends on your own point of view. Things that like to live on hard habitat like coral or sea animals will be happy, but if the casket lands on mud, you might not be so happy if you are a worm or a crab. Personally, I don't think it's a great idea to throw stuff into the water. Some people think. A body encased in a shroud would have less impact on the environment, especially if it is not embalmed, but it will take a while to degrade. Low oxygen levels and low temperatures should slow the decaying process. So that's it for our sea burial. So next we're going to talk about sky burials. They're incredible. Sky burials are amazing. And I just have a few notes here on sky burials. There is a sky burial that's called a Tibetan sky burial. This is a traditional Tibetan Buddhist practice. I'm just going to show you. These are the Himalayan mountains. And it's a traditional Tibetan Buddhist practice that involves exposing the body to the elements on a mountaintop. The idea is to allow the body to be consumed by vultures, which are considered sacred. It's actually a spiritual journey. One of the reasons the Tibetans have sky burials is because they practice Buddhism. Feeding the body to the vultures is considered to be a final act of charity, or a kindness. In their minds, the spirit of the person moves on, and the body is an empty vessel. This is called transmigration of the spirit. In the remote regions of Tibet, a unique and ancient burial tradition has been practiced for centuries. In this sacred ritual, the body of the deceased is taken to a mountaintop and left to be devoured by the vultures. Wow. For Tibetans, death is not the end, but rather a transformation from one life to the next. And all the Tibetan monks chanting and playing instruments around the body. The practice is deeply rooted in the Tibetan Buddhist beliefs and is seen in a way as a way of liberating the soul from the physical body and facilitating its transition to the afterlife. Wow, that's crazy. The body is washed, dressed in white robes, and placed on a platform facing east towards the rising sun. A lama or a spiritual teacher performs the sky burial ritual, which includes reciting sacred texts and performing various symbolic gestures. Once the lama has completed the ritual, the body is left to the vultures, who are believed to be sacred birds that have the power to carry the soul to the heavens. The vultures quickly consume the flesh, leaving only the bones behind. The remaining bones are collected, and the ashes are scattered into the wind. For Tibetans, sky burial is a sacred and profound way of honoring the dead and facilitating the spiritual journey. Thank you for joining us on this spiritual journey about sky burial, Tibetan sky burial traditions. Wow. And the next crazy one, of course, is, I wanted to mention about being in America specifically. I don't know about other countries, but there are two reasons why you can't have a Tibetan sky burial in America. First, many states and provinces explicitly limit the approved methods of disposition of human remains. And secondly, most states criminalize certain treatment of human remains that is inconsistent with prevailing social norms. So don't think you're going to do this any time in North America, and I'm not sure about any other country. So our next great topic is space burial. Wow, this is crazy. And this is a unique way to honor a loved one by sending a small amount of their created remains into space, a memorial space flight. That's crazy. A memorial space flight in which a small portion of the remains is sent into space, often in a capsule or a rocket. Space burials are not just science fiction, as celestial partings take off. And according to ABC CBN News Tokyo, scattered cremated remains in the sea, or even burying them with planted trees, have long been popular ways to send off the dead. But now, loved ones can be remembered with a shooting star-like farewell. Or how about a journey to the moon, or even an eternal voyage through deep space? And thanks to a growing number of space burial services, taking life's symbolic final stage out of this world is not just science fiction. There's many companies actually offering this now. For Tomoko Kase, a veteran of over 3 decades in the funeral industry and founder of a rare Japanese company offering such services, imagination is becoming a reality. I had been in the funeral business for 20 years, but felt something was lacking, he said. Then I remembered that as a child, I wanted to become a star when I died and got the idea of doing space burials. But I knew from the start that it couldn't be done in Japan, the 62-year-old said. Space burials at Space NTK start at $4,000 and up for approximately 50 grams of ashes, with a human body's worth of ashes, roughly 2 kilograms. The company also caters to pets by returning to the grand nature that is the universe. I feel like we will meet again after I die, he said. I now feel like I'm being watched over by a beloved member of my family every time I look up at the night sky. Wow. Now, there is a lunar memorial offered by elysiumspace.com, and I'll have the description box below for you, the link. And this is a lunar memorial. It's approximately $10,000. And imagine an everlasting memorial where family and friends can commemorate their departed loved ones anytime and anywhere. Instead of looking down upon the earth, we can raise our eyes to the eternal wonders within the night sky, knowing that our loved ones are always with us. That is crazy. The collection and delivery of cremated remains sampled to the lunar surface, the printing of the capsule containing the remains of the person's initials, and the printing of a personal message on the capsule model. And it will be an invitation to launch an event, a viewing event. Wow, that is crazy. And then, of course, there is a shooting star memorial. Imagine an everlasting memorial where family and friends can I can never say that word, commemorate their departed loved ones anytime and anywhere. Instead, we can have specifically designed memorial spacecraft containing a symbolic portion of a departed ashes, respectively orbits the Earth for several months while family and friends follow this journey through the stars using our free mobile app. In a last poetic moment, the spacecraft harmlessly re-enters the Earth's atmosphere, blazing as a shooting star. Wow, that is crazy, isn't it? And of course, our last one today is kind of cool because I'm going to talk about something that you might not have seen, even though it is a traditional method. It is a very traditional method in many areas and locations around the world and cities, provinces, and states, and that is being buried in a family or private cemetery. And I'm not sure if anyone has ever seen these before, but as a family, you can purchase an estate plot and have up to, in some cases, 8 to 12 people in the family buried. You can also, that could be buried with a casket, or it could be buried with just ashes and your cremated remains. So either way, it can be very useful in that everyone stays close together, and it's a nice place for family to always have a spot to go to and remember their family members. There are lots of times you can have memorial benches made as well in your area, and you can also have a mausoleum, which I don't have a picture of today, but that's also as well an option. So thank you for coming on our show today for all of these crazy ways of having your loved one buried. And if you'd like to share, like, and subscribe to our channel, please do down below. The link is right down there somewhere. There we go. And, Mike Tyson always says everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face. And it's very true, because please have a plan. Please have a grab and go bag. Please have an exit, an evacuation way of looking at your home, as well as your business, as well as where you work. You don't know what will happen tomorrow. So if you are thinking of that special someone today, right now, and you haven't spoken to them in a while, please reach out to them, call them, text them. We still have phones. Knock on their door and let them know how much you care and love about them today, because you don't know what tomorrow will bring. We take things for granted, and anything can change in the blink of an eye, as I've spoken to about before. And that's why I created this app, so it would organize all your details in one swell swoop of any of your medical emergencies, your sudden death, sickness, or unexpected tragedies, just so that you can avoid all that tremendous stress for you and your loved ones when it does occur. We all know something will occur. We just don't know what, and we don't know when. So why not have a plan? Go to your backup plan down below. The links are down below. We also have a podcast on all podcast platforms, and our YouTube channel is marketed across many platforms. We have Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So I hope to see you over there. Be kind, stay safe. Till next time, watch for part 3. I hope to see you over there. It's an exciting bunch of burials for your loved ones today. Bye.